Right. We are back. It's day 2. Caught my last video. What we worked on was essentially getting the drums to sound good, the feel to sound good, the drums to sound realistic. And what I had just the guitar, a scratch guitar, and the drum tracks. And what I focused on was the first part of the composition, my song I'm making. So I'll play that for you. Then I'll show you the interlude that I worked on today. And the goal of today's video is going to be making the chorus feel like it's settling better. Right now, I have one acoustic guitar. I've got a bass that I'm probably going to re-record. And I'm going to get into how I'm going to take my guitar takes, and instead of them being right down the center, I'm going to find two different composite takes from all the guitar takes that I did and spread them out into the stereo field, basically hard left, hard right, so that the guitars sound fuller and the rhythm really locks in. And if we get around to it, I'll probably do that for both choruses. If I get around to it, I probably won't today, is redoing the bass to really lock in to the drums. So let me play you the intro up to the chorus so you can hear kind of what we've got. Right now it's just drums and acoustic guitar, kind of like the main acoustic guitar. So here we go. There's our chorus. I heard one little section here where the hi-hat sounded a little bit rushed. Maybe I'll come back to that later. There's going to be shaker there instead, so I might focus on that later. But right now, it's just the chorus. So we have our guitar and we got our drums. The drums by themselves sound pretty good. Let me just hear those by themselves. Okay, some weird stuff happening there. By the way, I used addictive drums too for this. Nothing, some of the sounds, it's really dry right now. I think the kit should be a little wetter with the reverb and stuff. I'm going to do that later when I get into deeper into the production. Right now, it's just about getting the feel right. So I think what we can do first, and by the way, too, our click track is tempo mapped to this guitar track. So every 4 beats, I added a new tempo marker, and the MIDI is kind of lining up to these tempo markers. So you can see they're different like every time because, yeah, the tempo, the way I'm playing the track is changing. So honestly, I don't really know where to start with this. I think what I want to do is isolate the guitar, have a listen to that. And then I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to find a different take. So we'll have 2 different guitar takes and then we'll try to lock the drums in. Okay, cool. So that's one take. I think what I'm going to do first is duplicate this track. We're going to call this Alvarez center for now. And here we're going to mute this part. And then everything before on this track we're going to delete. So we're going to call this Alvarez chorus left. And we'll be panning that one to the left. And then in verse 2, that's a different story. Right now we're going to get rid of pretty much everything after the chorus on this chorus track. And just going to mute it for now, just to avoid any weirdness. Okay, so now that we've got our chorus left, we're going to duplicate this track. We're going to call this chorus right. And the trick here is finding a different take. None of the takes can match. The thing is, if you have two audio tracks that are identical to each other, they either will mess with the phasing, so the waves will cancel each other out and you'll get a lot of weird issues, or you might have a doubling of the amplitude. So either way, you don't want to ever just copy paste one exact guitar or audio track. You want to have a differently played one. It creates more variation and makes the sound and the feel sound more realistic, but it's also not going to add a lot of phase issues into your mix. So that's why we need to find a very different take for each one. So we're going to solo just this one here, and we're going to find equally good guitar take. And I think what we can do is basically start over. So we're gonna, here's our take 2. Let's try take 1. Just to hear that. So messed up there. So right there, maybe we will cut in there. So if we look at our other take here, it's using take 7. So can't use take 7. We can try take 2. Sounds okay. Now the intensity of this take is more than take 1, which is not a great thing. Those are closer together. That's actually not bad. And right there, we kind of want to be out for that 1 there and out there. Let's get our crossfade happening here. So crossfading. It, it blends the two audio tracks together pretty well. You can hardly even tell. Okay, so those aren't bad. Let's see what happens here if we pan 1 left, 1 right. Here we go. Chorus 1. That actually sounds pretty sick. That's cool. The idea with the chorus is that's when the arrangement gets the biggest. So it's not critical that the guitar is super tight because you're going to have other things happening in there. For example, going to have the bass. I'll play the bass. I'm probably going to redo this because I think the bass could be tighter. But the guitars are wide panned, but the bass and the drums are straight down the middle. So here it is with the bass. So yeah, let me do something here too. I like to make basically acoustic guitar sub mix and put all the acoustic guitars in there. A little folder that we can just easily, quickly solo the whole thing. There was one thing in the drums that sounded kind of weird. Right there's a weird hit going on there. So let me hear with the acoustic guitars. Yeah, it's definitely weird there. So what we want in the drums, boom, ba-da, boom, 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 boom. So maybe no extra kick drum hit. Where are we here? Here we are. So right there, this is, I don't know how that got there. That's a weird one. Oopsie doodle. There we go. Yeah, not bad. This snare hit seems a little late to me. Bum, bum, bum. I think that should be a tom hit. Okay, so again, I'm getting so off track here with all of these little things. What we're doing, we got the acoustic guitar sounding good here in chorus 1. Oh, it's gonna sound so good with a little bit of reverb, a little bit of room sound. The left is a little quieter. Sorry, the right is a little quieter. So I would maybe bring up the volume a bit there so they're a little more even. I think just this first one, I'm gonna bring it up like half a dB here. Yeah, that feels better. Okay, let's move on to the second chorus. Let's get that one done. So we're gonna mute. Let's see what's going on here with the main guitar right now. Everything's the same there, the interlude. So these, again, we're going to keep things spread out really wide here. So for the rest of the song, it's going to be split wide, nothing center. So I can mute all of that. We can keep our left guitar as is. And the right guitar, we just need to make a second comp that's different from the left. Easy peasy. So here we go. We're gonna start over with our takes. We're just gonna basically be a wildcat and start over with our comp. And I'm gonna center it here. It's just easier to hear when I'm comping it. Yeah. And instead of muting this, we're just gonna bring the volume down because I want to see what take I'm using. I think take 2 is actually better. That was weird. Take 6. Cool. There's something going on in the guitars here. I want to hear. Nope, we're good there. Back to where we were. Okay, so here is the rub. See right here, this is take 6. Can't use take 6 there. And I might have to check my other chorus because I don't want that to be an issue there either. So right here, this waveform looks a little weak, so we're gonna make a cut there. And right there. So maybe we can find a better take. Let's try to take 5. That could work. Interesting part there. That was really hard to play, actually. I don't think I'll keep that. Okay, here's take 2 again, so we have to do something different here. Pretty good, but the energy doesn't feel very high there. I want the energy. This is the end of the song, so the energy's got to be pretty good. It's pretty good. I think take 6 is the way to go. So it's a little messy, but together it might work because when you've got guitars split wide, you're not dependent on one really clean guitar take. You can kind of blur them a little bit. I will probably go back and do a bit more of a detailed comp, but for this video, let's just keep it simple here. So let's see where it leads us. So this is take 4, this is fair game. Yeah, I don't know if I'd like to keep that in there. And I also like when I make a cut in a take, I kind of like it to start on the beginning of a new section because it feels like the whole vibe of the section can change as a whole together with all the instruments, so it's a safe place to make a cut. Right here. There's our outro. Right there, might go back to one guitar. Not really sure yet. And I don't really like this take here when it goes to this chord. Here. It's a little sloppy there. a bit better. Got to clean up those cuts. That could work. Again, I don't want to go crazy with it right now because for the sake of time, just want to demonstrate this point here. So we don't need to cut there. So take 2, take 6. This is take 6, take 7, take 6. So we're all good here. So these don't conflict. Let's hear them together quickly. A little funky here. Yeah, so it needs a little bit of tweaking, this little ending perhaps. A couple things I heard in there, but that's kind of the idea, right? So having your verses, having your solo guitar parts down the middle, basically. I might do a slight kind of like delay doubling, so it feels a little wider, but when we get to the choruses, we really widen them out. And when the song is really rolling along and everything's in there, it should all kind of blend together. So I think I'll leave it at that. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to kind of clean up this comp a bit more. But if you have any questions about any of that, let me know. And otherwise, I will catch you later.